Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now July 24th of 2023, and given that there's a lot of things happening right now between Disney, Lucasfilm, and everything Marvel, and what's going on with the Indiana Jones 5 box office collapse, as well as the Snow White backlash, let's just say that Bob Iger has a lot on his plate lately. He's dealing with a lot of backlash from multiple franchises, from multiple fandoms, if you will, and is really trying to initiate that cost containment plan, which, by the way, is currently active and in the process of moving forward to really limit budgets on many upcoming shows, movies, and a whole lot more. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into what's going on here with Jon Favreau. Now, we know that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are dealing with a lot of pressure with the Ahsoka Tano series for several reasons. This is a show that Disney executives are really crossing their fingers that it's going to be the home run for Disney Plus Star Wars, and so far, let's just be real, there's a lot of fans out there that have really been kind of putting out their overall feelings about this show, and it's not looking good. There's a very big mixed reaction based on the final trailer of the Ahsoka Tano series. A lot of people aren't necessarily enjoying the fact that there are so many female-driven characters in this one, and very few male characters, and it's not just that, but a lot of people are beginning to realize subtle tones here and there about the show, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. What's going on with Jon Favreau right now is that lately he really has had no problems calling out Lucasfilm and their way of dealing with Star Wars, as well as Kathleen Kennedy and what she did to the Star Wars franchise and more, and everything related to how George Lucas has been betrayed multiple times. But with both Favreau and Filoni still focusing on Ahsoka and Mando Season 4, Favreau recently went on to unveil a specific truth about Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm. Favreau went on to deliver the following. Well, when I was working on Season 3 with Dave, while we were writing the script, we really were pushing to bring Luke back to join the fight toward the tail end of the show to help aid Grogu and to reconnect with him. But Kathy felt that would essentially create a lot of fan backlash in her mind, as she felt that bringing back Luke would be a waste of time and would lessen the value of the character. But what she did want to pursue was to also have the season really revolve around Bo-Katan instead of Din Djarin. This was absolutely intentional on her end, and I know many fans were unhappy about that decision and that shift, because so many have told me that Din is a character that was actually growing on them. So Kathy wanted to do this shift, you know, and others at Lucasfilm, like the many directors that we had on board with us, working on each episode for that season, fully pushed for that actual transition too. I never really supported that at first, because I really wanted this story to be about Din Djarin strictly. That's why it's called The Mandalorian and not The Mandalorians. Let me just stop here quick, guys, about what Favreau is putting out here, is that the thing about Kathleen Kennedy is that she has always done this with characters that fans really do cherish, such as Luke and the many legacy characters. I mean, look what they did with him in the sequel trilogy. It was the same exact thing, where even J.J. Abrams came forward at one point about 3 years ago, that the reason why she wanted to diminish Luke's presence in The Force Awakens was to really give Rey the limelight, or even Poe Dameron and Finn the limelight, if you will, and felt that if he was too prominent, those characters would really be devalued, essentially. And so the same exact thing applies here, apparently, by Favreau. Favreau did want Luke to come back briefly after the Book of Boba Fett to reconnect with Grogu toward the tail end of Season 3. Now, I think that would have been a great addition, because who doesn't want to see more Luke after the atrocity of the sequel trilogy, right? It would be a much better way to kind of make things up over time, and Kathleen Kennedy really played a role in not making that happen, while Favreau and Filoni were involved in the script. So on top of this, it even gets worse. However, alright, he goes on to elaborate further. But what can you do, he says. I was in this position where I really couldn't say this or that, so I had to roll with the changes, and so we made many revisions to the script sometime after I finished it. We were going to have Din remove his helmet in that scene where everyone else is removing theirs, but Kathy also did not want him and did not want that to occur of him removing his helmet for multiple reasons that was problematic. She wanted to make sure the focus would be strictly on Bo-Katan for the most part for this season, and Din removing his helmet would also take away from that focus on those specific episodes. It was a tough call for me and Dave to deal with, and I knew fans were going to be unhappy. I ran this over with George, and he wasn't too fond of that either, but Kathy never really wanted him on set for Season 3, and that was a tough call and a tough decision as well to deal with. With Season 4, we are aiming to do something entirely different, resetting things and bringing it back down to the bare bones this time around. But that won't be out for quite a while due to the strikes and everything, so that's all I can really say for everybody right now. Now, in case you guys did not know, Mando Season 4 is not coming out in 2024. They are currently looking at a 2025 release date, which is awful in my opinion, but hey, I mean, we really can't blame anybody on this. This is all because of the writer's strike. It's not really put on Favreau or Filoni having a tough time with the story per se, but the strikes are getting in the way. Now, the problem here that Favreau does confirm is that it was 100% Kathleen Kennedy's call to initiate that bait and switch that we all saw in Mando Season 3 between Bo-Katan and Din Djarin, something that I myself wasn't really a big fan of either. You know, about midway through, I started to realize, alright, what's going on here? Like, Din Djarin is beginning to make clumsy choices and decisions, and Bo-Katan is beginning to make the right calls, and all these different things. It just began to shift, and made me realize that something was up with this season. Something was very off. It wasn't just about Bo-Katan and the whole bait and switch scenario, but we were also dealing with a lot of other issues at hand. You know, the story was very weak, the character cameos such as Lizzo and Jack Black, I believe, in my opinion, were cringe and really not needed. A true waste of time, if you will. We really didn't need something like that at all. And let's not forget the countless episodes where they're facing these gigantic monsters or creatures. It got very repetitive. The whole season just felt like nothingness, where it was going in 8 different directions. I can't even honestly remember this season. I don't know about you guys, but when I think back at this season, I can't remember anything epic or anything monumental that sticks with me. And so when we look at Favreau and Filoni, right, the fact that they had to deal with this with Kathleen Kennedy initiating this bait and switch, the fact that she had so much power over the script writing process, but not during principal photography, I've said this before, the fact that she had no control over filming, it's too late at that point anyway, because what's done is done is when the script is written. So it wasn't just her, it was also a lot of directors involved, other creators over at Lucasfilm that really pushed for this overall approach for Mando Season 3. But anyways guys, I would love to hear your take on this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.